In the heart of Harrowood stood the ancient clock tower, a beloved relic of the town's history. For generations, its rhythmic chimes marked the passage of time, and the townsfolk took comfort in its presence. But as the years went by, the clock began to show signs of age. Its pendulum swung erratically, and the gears grew rusty. Yet, the townspeople remained hopeful that a much-needed repair would restore the tower's former glory. Little did they know that it would be the catalyst for a sinister curse. It started on an ordinary Thursday evening. The clock struck 7, but instead of the familiar resonant chime, an eerie sound echoed through the streets, a harsh metallic clang. Residents exchanged uneasy glances, unsure of what they had just heard. Moments later, the town sheriff received a frantic call from the home of Martha Bloom, the town librarian. She hadn't been seen since that morning, and her door stood ajar, an unsettling chill radiating from the threshold. As the sheriff and his deputies arrived, they found the interior pristine. No sign of struggle, nothing out of place. Martha's belongings were neatly arranged, and her favorite books lined the shelves, untouched. A bone-deep cold that even summer's warmth could not penetrate. It sent a shiver down the sheriff's spine. Rumors began to circulate as the clock struck an hour late that night. Before long, fear settled over Harrowood, thickening like fog in the streets. The clock tolled again, and by morning, the lights were dimmer in another household. The Jacobs family had vanished without a trace, their home left exactly as they had left it. The investigation turned frantic. Townspeople were jostled by fear and paranoia as whispers of a curse overtook their conversations. Days turned into weeks, and each day the clock chimed at odd hours, each chime heralding a disappearance. Those who had once called the clock a symbol of pride had begun to view it as a harbinger of doom. Desperation mounted. A team of investigators arrived to unravel the mystery. They picked through the relic of the clock tower, wielding flashlights against the encroaching darkness of its chambers. Cobwebs hung like gauzy shrouds in the corners, and dust erupted into clouds with each step they took. The gears, coated in grime and neglect, creaked under their touch. It was here that they stumbled upon a discovery that sent chills rippling down their spines. The gears were engraved with names. Each name was etched in careful cursive, hinting at a personal connection to the residents of the town. As they scoured through the engravings, they found that the names matched those of the townsfolk who had gone missing, aligned with the time of their disappearances. The clock's chimes were not merely announcing hours, they were marking the very moments lives were cruelly snatched away. Whoever did this, one investigator whispered, his voice trembling, must have cursed this tower, cursed the town. The realization sank in, and suffocating, as they understood they were trapped in the web of time crafted by an unseen malevolence. Panic clawed at the townsfolk when the clock struck 6 that evening, the chime filled with an unholy resonance, lingering longer than it ever had. Shadows loomed. Another name resonated through the tower, the investigator's name. Horror spread through the crowd as realization dawned. William Carter, the leader among them, gazed at the engravings only to find his name shimmering in the dim light, glowing ominously. "Run!" he cried, terror overtaking him. But the echo of the chimes trapped them all, the cold air slithering into their bones, freezing them in place as hours twisted into minutes and time distorted under the tower's cursed influence. As the chime faded, a deafening silence blanketed the town. One by one, the townsfolk began to vanish, consumed by the dark energy that pulsed from the clock tower. They became mere echoes amid the shadows, leaving behind their homes, memories, and whispers of warning to future generations. The clock tower stood untouched as the night wore on, the final chime ringing hollowly through the empty streets of Harrowood. As dawn broke, the town lay cold and abandoned. Only the clock ticked on, its gears winding ever tighter with new names, new horrors. In a corner of the tower, now riddled with a fresh layer of dust, the names of the lost became part of the clock's legacy, twisted souls bound to time and to the very mechanism that ensnared them. No matter how many years passed, the townsfolk remained prisoners of the clock tower's curse, their voices forever faintly echoing through the gears that wielded eternal capture. And with each new chime, it reminds to all who listen that escape was a hope long lost to the grinding teeth of fate.